Hello, and welcome to the Beyond Shakespeare podcast, exploring sessions on this video online feed. It is a Friday. It's been a long week of mostly interludes by these wonderful people. And today we are looking at an interlude of wealth and health, very merry and full of pastime, newly at this time imprinted. Now, it's not 100% clear when we put this in terms of time. There is a reference in the stationer's register for 1557, so the best guess is tend to be a couple of years before that. However, there is a slight complication. As you will see as we go into the text, the theology and the logic of some of the text is clearly later. So the suggestion is that there may have been a rewrite of an earlier play before it ended up being published, or this particular edition got published. So either way, it's somewhere around the orbit of Mary into Elizabeth, and we will see what we shall see. We are once again at the vicissitudes of what the internet is able to supply, because I do not have a modern edition of this to hand. In fact, I don't actually know whether it has got a properly edited modern edition anywhere. I'm sure it's probably somewhere, but I have not as of yet located one. So there may be typos and errors that we can't judge, but you'd be surprised how many typos and errors you can just trip over and make sound like they're proper things. It's astounding how easy that is to be done. So that's enough from me. Let us introduce the team. And so let's go round the room. Could Wealth please introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Sarah. I'm a actor, writer, director, and I run a tiny little audiobook company called Sounds Curious.
Lovely. And next up on my list, I see Remedy. Who is playing a Remedy?
Hello, I'm Joseph. I'm an actor and a writer and a student. And I'm playing Remedy.
Excellent. And further up on my list, we have Hance. And who's playing Hance?
Hi, my name is William. I'll be playing Hance. En ik ben hier in Amsterdam, dus perfect.
Would you like to say anything more about yourself, sir?
Bit of acting.
Next up, then, we have Shrewd Wit. Who's playing Shrewd Wit?
Hi, I'm Liza. I'm playing Shrewd Wit. I'm a singer, actor, Shakespearean text coach, general polymath who knows a lot of seemingly useless information. Yes, looking forward to being shrewd and witty with y'all.
Excellent. And then something that we can all appreciate at this time, playing Health is...
Hello, I'm Fiona. I'm an actor, narrator, producer and writer, and I run Dashing Onions Audio, which is a podcast.
Excellent. And then, not saying he's typecast in any way, shape or form, Ill Will.
Hi everyone, my name's Simon Nader, and like the rest of the team, I do all of the businessy stuff, and I'm looking forward to the comedy Dutch from Will.
And last but not least, if I haven't missed anyone, it is Liberty. Who's playing Liberty?
Hi, I'm Stefanie. I'm also a theatre director, sometimes perform, and sometimes write a conference paper, and I teach.
Excellent. And of course, I am, as ever, your inevitable host, Robert Crighton, who will be covering stage directions. I am general overseer of the podcast. I've been informed that occasionally I don't actually explain what the podcast is, so maybe I should mention that what we primarily do is produce full cast audio adaptations of early English, early modern drama, and also we try to build up resources like this to help other people get a route into plays and get a sense of how they function, rather than being presented with a wall of text that can be quite intimidating, especially if they haven't been properly formatted for today's audiences. So that's broadly what I and we all do. So let's get bang into Wealth and Health. The play opens with the title characters. It's a beautiful thing. We get to say hello to them, and of course they've been rehearsing really hard for the opening of this play. They've done a lot of work on this opening because of course they both come in singing. And we're going to rattle through until the end of this little scenette with Wealth and Health before I stop everyone with a room for suggestions. I will give you your opening introductory stage direction. Here entereth Wealth and Health singing together a ballad of 2 parts, and after speaketh Wealth.
Why? Is there no courtesy now I am come? I trow that all the people be dumb. Or else, so God help me and halidom, they were almost asleep. No words I heard, nor yet no talking. No instrument went, nor ballad singing. What ails you all, thus to sit dreaming? Of whom take ye care? Of my coming ye may be glad. Therefore, I pray you, be not sad, for all your desires shall be had. I can amend your cheer. By God, I think you have forgotten me. I am Wealth of this realm. Look upon me. For I am to every man loving and friendly. For wealth hath no peer.
Brother Wealth, have ye not yet done? Ye praise yourself above the moon. Every man may perceive thereby soon that you lack discretion.
Wherefore? By God, I cannot say too much. I am so wealthy of substance and rich. In all the world, where is one such as I am of comparison?
Wealth is good, I cannot deny, yet praise yourself too much ye may. For wealth oft times doth decay, and wealth is nothing sure.
Wealth hath been ever in this country, and here I purpose still for to be. For this is the land most meet to me, and here I will endure.
Therein ye speak full lovingly, for in this realm wealth should be. Yet no displeasure, I pray you heartily. But in the way of communication and for pastime, I would speak some ways of no comparison, nor to you no dispraise. I do not intend that matter always, but for a recreation.
Brother, whatsoever ye say to me, I will hear you patiently. I am content, and I thank you heartily. Begin, and say your pleasure.
I thank you heartily. Then will I somewhat unto my purpose apply. Though wealth be praised marvellously, yet to mine understanding wealth is mutable, and that in shame. And wealth is haughty and proud of name. Wealth is cruel and in great blame, for wealth is ever wavering.
To whom have I done any harm, can ye say? Ye slander me now, yet I trust I may answer for myself in every manner way. Ye will not deny that.
God forbid, but ye should do so, and ye may do it whether I will or no. In likewise I must answer you also when ye say not true. Though I be but to you a poor man, yet health I height the same I am, that is desired universally than. Some calls me as good as you.
As I? Marry, fair indeed ye do compare. Such words might bring you soon in care. Lewd person, thou art not ware of what substance I am.
Yes, I can tell what you are, be not displeased. Wealth is of great substance, that cannot be denied. Yet show your commodities, and ye shall be answered. I promise you, wealth is fugitive.
What sayest thou? Am I a tadjective? I never was so taken up in my life, nor called unsure. Well, I will make no strife. Yet, whereas thou dost say that I should show my commodities always, the best for myself whereof I ask praise, if I should stand here all my life days, yet I could not say, nor half the benefits that cometh of me, it cannot be told, nor recited shortly. Wealth is the flower of all things earthly, that you cannot deny. First, God save our sovereign lady, the Queen, with all the council and all that with them been. Am not I, wealth, with them ever at e'en? Who should be there but I? Men of the law and jolly rich merchants there be, wealthy both of goods and lands, without comparison is in their hands. I, wealth, have all treasure.
Oh, good sir, of whom cometh all this? Of God only. To you no thank I wis. And yet man's wealth stands not all in riches. I dare say that boldly. When man hath a competent living, with the grace of God that passeth all thing, love of his neighbour and good reporting, then he is wealthy. Wealth of goods is but a fame. He is wealthy that hath a good name. Every wise man will covet the same. For other wealth I not retch. If a man have never so much good name, every wise man will covet the same. If his dispositions be naught and wood, then he is but a wretch.
Nay, thou art a wretch, and a fool unwise, wealth of riches thus to despise. Dost thou not see all the world arise by goods and substance? He that hath plenty of silver and gold may have all thing, whatsoever he would. When can wealth lack, seeing all thing is sold, and wealth is of assurance?
I deny that. Your saying is naught. Grace, heaven, nor cunning cannot be bought without great pain and good deeds wrought, else man cannot them have.
Stop thereat, and hold thy peace. May not men buy heaven with richesse, as to build churches and make byways? Such deeds man's soul doth save.
Yea, but yet ye must mark one thing. If these goods came with wrongdoing, shall ye have heaven for so spending, or yet any mate? Nay, nay, except that man himself do meek, and make resistance the right honour to seek. Else all such good deeds is not worth a leak. Wealth, hereof take heed.
Why thinkest thou that all men which hath wealth getteth their goods with bribery and stealth? Thy report is naught. Therefore, health, I counsel thee to say the best.
So I will, but yet I must say true. And now a little more I will say to you. Much sorrow and care wealth doth brew. He is seldom in rest. When a man is a little height and wealthy, and hath in his chest treasures plenty, then will he wrangle and do shrewdly by his power and might. With his neighbours he will go to law, and wreak his malice for value of straw. Wealth is fickle and out of awe, wilful in wrong or right.
Thou speakest with a slanderous tongue, all of evil will, and yet it is wrong. Wealth in this realm hath been long, of me cometh great honour. Because that I, wealth, hath great port, all the world hither doth resort. Therefore I, wealth, am this realm's comfort. and here I will endure.
So I would ye should, and I should do the same. Health I am called, and that is my name. If I would not abide here, I were to blame, for here I am well cherished. Yet say yourself now indifferently, and if every man do not love me, health as well as wealth, yes, verily, thereof I dare be reported.
Why should they love thee, that I would know, as well as me? I pray you, show. I am the superior of high and low. No man may compare with me.
To show why, I will not be afraid, for I can bide by that I have said. If wealthy men be very well apaid, or much they set you by, but of wealth, if they have never so much goods, treasure, and gold, and be called rich, yet if they lack health, their pain is such that they were better die. A man to wear gold and be in pain, what joy hath he? None, but would be fain to give all his treasure for health plain, or else he were very mad. For if a man be never so poor, yet if he have health, that is a treasure. Then for his living he may labour, and in his heart be glad.
I never marked thus much, nor understood that health was such a treasure, and to man so good. Wherefore I am sorry, and will change my mood. Now, I pray you, forgive me?
I will forgive, or else I were to blame, and I pray you to forgive me the same. I love you heartily, and will praise your name, if it please you to keep my company.
Oh, wasn't that nice?
Wow.
Wasn't everyone nice? It reminds me very much of the comment made yesterday about the sort of panto style opening. I mean, it starts with a song, and they come on, and it's all in rhyme, and we go into this nice little debate, but it's not antagonistic. They're willing to work together and to give ground, and that's really lovely. I've not really come across anything quite like this, actually. Thoughts from the room.
I was getting nursery rhymes. Is what I was getting. Felt like a nursery rhyme.
That opening, when I came in and was saying, "Oh, everybody's asleep," that really reminded me of panto. Actually, it's like you come in and get the audience, woken up and get them going. Yeah, very.
You could literally do that in a pantomime. I mean, I don't think you need to transpose anything there. Yeah. I mean, apart from a few minor tweaks in the language, you could actually. That's a challenge. See if anyone notices.
Yeah, the early English panto.
You could. On the other hand, like you were saying earlier, it's a very civilized, nuanced conversation they're having. So you got to ask the question: is it good theater? Like you'd need, I think, very good actors to sustain sufficient interest in a scene this long where this little happens without cutting, where they're adversarial but they're not fighting. It's would you have them physically jostling for space? Would you have them doing competing catwalks? Who knows?
You're right. It doesn't have that adversarial quality about where I've said before. Debate plays are argument plays. The debate here doesn't feel like that at all. And you're right. There were points in that where my attention, precisely what people were saying, drifted. And that's no comment on your performances. I think there is an element that there isn't anything really to grab hold on in the middle of that scene. There's a bit at the beginning, the bit at the end is quite grippy. But there's something a bit slippery about the middle. Those are technical terms.
Kind of strikes me as perhaps. Sorry, Stefanie, go ahead.
Sorry, I disagree because I find what's happening is that it's first of all about relationship making, but one of the characters having to step down, and I kind of imagine it being played by two women, and obviously not by two women, but men wearing costly dresses, and as you said earlier, or somebody, that it's very fine, needs very fine acting and characterization, and the undertone of that is interesting. So it's almost like looking at the courtier, like cortigiano.
Yeah, I was thinking it would work maybe as something like a kind of loquacious display, you know, like a chivalric display, maybe two very pompous characters. Perhaps you could do that to sustain interest, is what I would see, or two people not exactly jousting, but I'm good. Oh, I'm good. Let me tell you now, and then that way you set them up for their possible fall later.
I was kind of thinking in terms of what Liza was saying of the staging of it. If you're thinking in terms of costume, wealth is obviously going to be dressed in the finery and the glitz and the glamour, and health is going to be exactly the opposite. So we've basically got a city country kind of thing happening already. The healthy, robust, you know, nature of it's brushed down to against the ornate magnificence of wealth. I mean, this is already an antithesis that's can help along with the verbal games you're playing as well.
Yeah. I was imagining like a cardinal and a Franciscan kind of.
Yes. Can also do it in terms of ecclesiastics as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are good points. I mean, it is in a sense a much more subtle set of relationships than we've had in some of these interludes. There's a lot here that could be mined with rehearsal and time to make more of that, which I really like. Sorry, Liza, were you waving at me?
No, I was just miming.
Ah. Okay. Any other thoughts before we crack on with an entrance of an additional character?
I was just going to say, for me, it's kind of a slight sense of almost relief and freedom, because there's no like overt religiosity at this point, unlike some of the morality plays that we've been looking at over the years beyond Shakespeare. So I guess that gives you a little bit more width.
I also feel a bit of an attachment to the writer there, because you assume that maybe the writer wasn't massively wealthy, but was sitting there going, oh, wealth is brilliant, but actually I do really value my health and I really ought to be like promoting that. But then again, wealth. It's kind of...
I mean, it's you know, we talk about being healthy, wealthy, and wise, and all those things, and the two they are connected. You know, your health is in part connected to your social position, because you know the more money you have, the greater access you have to things that keep you healthy, and as well as the different stresses that are involved and things. But I might be overthinking that one slightly. We have now the. Sorry, no. Do you want to?
Oh no, just quickly. Further to what you were saying, though. Yeah, the wealthier you are, the healthier you can keep yourself. But then those wonderful lines towards the end: "A man to wear gold and be in pain, what joy hath he? None. But would be fain to give all his treasure for health." So anyway, that was me. I'll shut up now.
That's a nice argument.
No, it's there's already lots of stuff here, which is really lovely. But we shall crack on and see what a third person in the room adds to it. So here we have the entrance of Liberty, and Liberty entereth with a song. So I don't know if there's any musical accompaniment or something, or I don't know. I just thought I'd just wake you up a bit. So after a song, Liberty speaketh.
Why tarry, sirs? Whither are ye going? I see well ye looked not for my coming. Lo, out of sight, out of remembering, absence is cause of strangeness. What look ye on? Why are ye so strange? From your fellow liberty doth your minds change? In your company I was wont to range. What needs all this business?
By liberty now, I do not set, seeing that health and I am met. as felloweth together, no man shall let me for to love him best.
Let me hear what ye do say. Then ye are about to cast me away. How haps this? Marry, then I may go pick straws and take me rest. I pray you, tell me whom I have offended. If I have made a fault, it shall be amended. With so short warning, let me not be voided. I trow, yet ye do but jest.
Why do ye make this cavillation? We intend to make no alteration. Wealth and I have had communication. He is my friend of old.
What was the matter? I pray you tell. Methinks I ought to be of counsel, or else I promise you, ye do not well. With you I should behold.
The matter is done. We are agreed. To reason it more, it shall not need. O brother Health, thou art indeed more preciouser than gold.
God's body, how cometh this gear to pass? I am cast out at the cart's ass. The world is nothing as it was, for I am here refused.
Why be you angry that we do agree? Then are ye not wise? For if ye love me, I will love him again. So it should be, or else I was misadvised.
Then of my love ye set no store. My company I see well ye look not for. Farewell, I will get me out of the door. Yet I'm your betters, and so I'm called.
Such presumptuous words will have a fall. Your comparison is but feeble and small. What can ye do? Nothing at all, as ye have reputed.
What were ye both to? Were not I? Wretches and caitiffs, look not so high. Think no scorn hardly, for I may be your peer. If wealth have never so much substance, lacking liberty, and wherein endurance, within a wit, I am in assurance, you would pray me come near. If health be never so lust and strong, yet if liberty were kept from him long, then sorrow and care would be his song. It would abate your cheer. Fie of wealth, which lacketh liberty. Fie of health, and be in captivity. Fie of riches, and lack good company. Liberty hath no peer.
Will ye hear how he doth clatter? What need ye to rehearse all this matter? Ye know that we twain are for any other. Liberty must needs have still. Liberty on us is glad to wait. Ye stand too far in your own conceit. I wis, Liberty, ye can make no bait to catch us at your will.
Now there ye lie. I can suffer no longer. Wealth for liberty doth labour ever, and health for liberty is a great store. Therefore set me not so light.
Liberty, I pray ye, reason no more. Ye are welcome to us as ye were before. Indeed, of liberty it is great suitor. Therefore, welcome by this light.
Now I thank you both full kindly. Your strange words a little did grieve me, and now at your commandment I am ready and at your own will.
Here entereth with some jest ill will.
Marry, I am come at the first call. Will, your own man, have me who shall. For I am Will, servant to you all. Ye shall not need to send for me.
Who is acquainted with this man? He is very homely, and little good he can. To come in here so boldly, then, drive him away quickly.
Why, I came not till I was called. Your own Will, openly ye named. Then I came apace, lest I should be blamed. Therefore, I pray you, let me bide still.
Whose will or what will doth he mean? Thou art not my will, I forsake thee clean. My will and their wills is often seen. Our wills can none ill.
Alas, good masters, I can none ill. Yet, by my troth, I am your evil will, your will, and your will, and your will. Therefore keep me, I love ye, by God's mother.
This is a strange saying unto me. My will, your will, and his will. This cannot be, for in our wills is great diversity, for one is not like another.
Yet, by Christ, your own will I am, the maddest will and the merriest than. For God's sake, now let me be your man till ye have better acquaintance.
I perceive this fellow is kind, and oweth to us goodwill and mind. Some kinds again, then let him find. Let him have some furtherance.
By God, sir, and I durst be so bold, acquaintance of this man claim I would, and kindred too, if the truth were told. We be of one consanguinity.
How so? Let me hear that, I pray thee heartily.
Will and liberty is of ancestry old. Without liberty, will dare not be bold. And where will lacketh, liberty is full cold. Therefore will and liberty must needs be of kin.
Indeed, as he saith, it may well be, for will ever longeth unto liberty. Therefore, good friend, welcome unto me. I pray you all be good to him.
And liberty goeth out.
For your sake, he is welcome to us all. Let him come to our place, and then he shall have succour of us, and help withal. And now we will depart.
And health and wealth goeth out too.
Will you go hence? I thank ye, masters, with all my heart. I will seek you out, I warrant you, fear not. Now they be gone, I am glad, by Saint Mary. A little while here I purpose to tarry. How to deceive wealth, health, and liberty now must I devise. For I am a child that is past grace. Ill will, I am called that in every place, doth much mischief. This is a plain case. Virtue I do utterly despise. But if they wish... Shouldn't have moved on from the tea to the whiskey there, sorry.
And that feels like an excellent point to pause.
Japanese.
Oh, so many fascinating questions throughout that whole sequence. So, working backwards, I mean, ill will, who's pretending to be Will, and we're only just getting that acknowledgement, though. Again, we've been talking about how the audience sort of probably is given lots of clues, and that they're probably clued into this as a convention. So that they know he's probably not what he seems, even if they don't know precisely what is wrong. But when ill will enters, here entereth with some jest ill will. Now, those 4 lines, is there a joke in there? Because it looks like it's structured like a joke, but I'm not sure whether he's supposed to improvise a joke before he says those lines, or whether there's something else, or I'm just missing something. Simon, did you detect a joke when you entered?
Apart from my performance, no. No. I thought some jest. I wondered if it was perhaps through the audience, that kind of hello Mary, hello, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I suppose there could be some nice scope for a little ad lib, a little.
Well, that's why I was wondering whether that is explicitly supposed to be improvised.
Well, I don't know.
Could he become?
Liza.
The scheme, the rhyme scheme seems quite nice, and the writing of that first quatrain is so lovely. You know, I am come at the first call, and then who do you address? Are you addressing the audience? Will, your own man, anyone's man, have me who shall, for I am Will, servant to you all. What a wonderful entrance line.
So it's very nice.
Yeah, And there's a lot of wordplay the moment you're in. All these playing around with different wills is really fun and confusing.
But also
love
buttering everyone up for later as well, of course. Yeah.
I love, by Christ, your own will I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am Will.
I also like Liberty's line, which could be very deadpan. This is a strange saying unto me.
Yeah.
Going back to before Ill Will's entrance, also Liberty is a really interesting character in relation to wealth and health, because there's something, really. Wealth says presumptuous, and there's something sort of really quite. I mean, it's not an evil character, but there's something obviously excessive in places in Liberty that I found that one a really interesting. There's a lot more layers to these characters than I think we found in some of the other things. Thoughts on Liberty, please?
I suppose I'm sort of struck that she seems reckless in comparison. Everything else must be, which, I suppose we can probably relate to that today. It's like, well, everything else has to be put aside for me. It's kind of what I drew from some of the lines.
Mm-hmm. I'd expect a character called Liberty to be more found in Restoration as well, of course, because you would think back when this was written, there's a very different sense of what liberty is, of course, which is argued. But it's fascinating what you could do with that if you age it up, so to speak.
Well, it's the fact that Liberty seems annoyed that the argument's over and everyone's happy. It's like, no, what? Come on, no, I was here for the argument. It's over.
Freedom of the press, maybe.
Yeah, and he's very prideful. Look at me, fie of wealth, liberty hath no peer, and it's almost a ta-da gesture. How did you find Liberty, Stefanie?
Quite contrary, funnily enough, because I find like when I read her this morning, when I read her just right now, it's find like it all adds up to an unusual flow and softness. I think I've hardly ever encountered a character that really allows for the voice to flow naturally in such a way. And I don't find this character presumptuous or reckless so far. I don't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not what the words tell sort of my cavities and my tongue.
Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts in the room before we move forward?
I don't know why I keep coming back to the psychogeography of towns, but basically the liberties are the place where all the freedoms took place, and health was squandered and wealth was also squandered within the reach of liberties as well. I just, that came to mind.
Excellent. Right. Well, we're going to complete in a moment Ill Will's soliloquy before we have the entrance of Shrewd Wit. So there is a. Now, I did mention at the top that at the beginning of the book, it does say 4 may easily play this play. This is a lie. This is not true. This play clearly does not double. There are 5 people on stage at one point, apparently, and to make it double down, you have to do some really untidy things. So we ignore that, and I think that's why it's slightly more dynamic than the play we were looking at the other day, where the doubling seems to constrain some of the action. It feels much freer. This play, and we are having overlapping characters entering and exiting in a nice flowy way that I really like. So Ill Will, if you can go from but if they wist what I were, if they knew who you were, Ill Will, things would be very different.
But if they wist what I were, then of my purpose I should never the near. I will keep my tongue, lest that I mar my whole intent and will. But now I marvel, by this day, where shrewd wit is gone astray. Some crafty touches in his way. I hear him. Peace! Stand still!
Enter Shrewd Wit with a song.
In French.
Je vous garde plaisance. On Severn or on Munchance, what yonkers dare advance to play a groat or twain? Lo, here I have in store 2 or 3 groats and no more. I take great thought, therefore, for to keep it is much pain. I come now out of a place where is a company of small grace, thieves and whores that spends apace. They were drunken all the sort. One of their purses I did espy out of his sleeve where it did lie, and one winked on me with his eye, and there began the sport. Their falsehood, and I, crafty wit, got the purse. Lo, here I have it. I came my way and let him sit, smoke and shit and arse together. And if that I had ill will here, with this money we would make good cheer. Gentle brother Will, I pray thee appear, for thou art in some corner.
I would come in, but I am afeard lest I be taken by the beard with some catchpole. I have heard how thou hast stolen a purse.
Oh, thou whoreson, art thou mad? Come in, I say.
So Ill Will comes in. So the suggestion is that with the song, Ill Will hid from Shrewd Wit in some fashion. However, he now comes out of his cubby hole and...
This is not the first hazard that I have scaped. If I make an hand to deck myself gay, what am I the worse?
From thy company I cannot abide. I must needs hold upon thy side.
Way.
Ill will, hey, and shrewd wit, who can hide? For they will be together.
Now welcome, Will, and what cheer? By God, I sought for thee 1,000 year. Peace, for God's body, who cometh there? Hance, beer pot, a scone rudder.
Enter Hance with a Dutch song.
Waarde kleren allemaal, goed mijn schone ritters bij de moeder God. Ik heet naar een schoon, steef niet de kwekste man, ik bedoel. Met een grote bombard wil ik weten, daar het ik 1000 van. En heb ik meten. Ik ben de manneken van de koningdochter, de groot keizerkind. Ik ben een kusketer.
Bless you. Hear ye not, drunken heart, how he begins to prate. The malapert Fleming is a little too checkmate.
Let the knave alone, for his name is War. Such drunken Flemings your company will mar.
Ik best een aanhond, ik best een zorgen, ik vecht hem niet veel, ik verstaaf je een dogge.
Comest here, late with your gown, stand near. It becomes you better to handle a pot of beer.
Dat mag ik veel dan, ik kan schenken vrolijk. Tap bergs vreu, ik breng eens broer, bij godsnemmerik.
That horse and knave by the mass is drunk a-winking, for deep his eye and be clean sunk.
Ik verraaf je veel, je zegt dat ik sleep. Nee, ik kom te horen van een ouderkeep.
Well, Coppin, I pray thee heartily, tell us true, wherefore comest thou hither for anything to sue?
Ja, ik vegen en bombarder van de koning. Wij het bie heb 2 skelling de dag. Ik kon schoten de kulverijn.
Nay, ye shall walk, a Fleming knave. Will ye not see, we have English gunners enow. There is no room empty.
Ik best een bombarder moet me spreken. Wat zeg je, Bonnes? Ik zal je joden staan.
We speak not to thee, thou art a scone ran, but go thy way. They be not here that promote thee can.
Kan je me de huis dragen van de grot hier?
Hance, you must go to the court and for wealth inquire.
Wat zeg je? Welt? Nee, hij is er niet hoor. Welt biest in Flanders. Ik mijzelf brood hem daar.
Beshrew it, horse on Fleming's heart, therefore. Indeed, as he saith, by war in Flanders there is wealth.
Zeg je dat, broer? Bij de moeder God dan. Goed, not, ik moet wat. De St. Catherine te Milan storen.
And he goes out. Round of applause, please, for for Hance.
Good.
And it does ask a question there with performing it in that fashion. How does it matter to the scene whether the audience can follow what he's saying? And I think the audience.
Well, actually, the English characters are translating what he's saying.
Yes. I mean, that's the thing, is that by going all out, it demonstrated that really well.
Right, and I don't think it's necessary to understand what he's saying.
No.
But it very much helps that you understand what he's saying.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I need to have some kind of line through what I'm saying. You know, and for some reason, I don't know what I'm saying about wealth, but I know that I took him to Brussels or Flanders or whatever, where he was.
Yeah, I mean, that line came across very clearly, and it's a good joke. I think right. there's a really nice element to that that works really well. Yes, they do quite well over there.
Right. But I think there are things within the text. These could be places. These could be inns, for example. I mean, you know, I don't know that the Flanders that he's talking about right here. Is it somewhere within inner city, or is it the actual place across the sea?
I'm assuming it is the place across the sea. I mean,
yeah, me too.
That would make sense. And you know, we've got a long connection between certainly in London, Flemish workers have had ups and downs. If we go back to the Peasants' Revolt, things do not go well for the Flemish workers. As we covered in the play Life and Death of Jack Straw, they come across.
Oh, right. Oh, nice.
Yeah, we did a full cast audio adaptation of that last year, and the Flemish workers get massacred because they cannot say the words bread and cheese in a suitably English fashion. So they get their throats slit. It's not actually technically in the stage directions, but yes, there was a historical massacre. So yes, there's a sort of jingoistic anti-foreigner element to the to this in the text, and you know, that this is a comedy character who comes in. Seems to be the way to look at it, but thoughts from the room. I could be just overselling that thought.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is all about the ambivalent attitude towards Dutch immigrants, and I think again, this can sort of help you date the play, given what was happening in the Dutch Wars and the Treaty of Nonsuch, as you know. But he claims to be a gunner for hire. And he wants the king to give him 2 shillings a day to shoot guns for him, basically, right?
Yeah.
Am I reading that right?
I think that's right. Yeah.
I read it the other way, that he's actually already been hired, and he's got the 2 shillings a day. Now, what's a soldier who's got nothing to do going to do with 2 shillings a day? He's going to drink his ass off, and that's why he's drunk the whole time, right? But he still knows his worth. That when he's called on to work, he's there with his gun.
And then later
that's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, right. And then later he claims to be a shoemaker, right? In one of the later scenes,
yes,
there's also a city comedy, The Gentle Craft, I think.
Yes, the shoemaker of the shoemaker.
Yeah, where you know, your Huguenots from France, a lot of them were textile workers, but Dutch shoemakers seem to have been common enough for there to be a bunch of jokes about them in plays of the period.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, for what so far is a very short little interlude in the text, it's it does all fit within the pattern of things. It is moving the plot forward, and it is nice to have a sense of a moving plot here. So we will, however, now pick up and move forward. So ill will and shrewd wit being mid-conversation, having been interrupted, continue in this fashion.
Is he gone? Farewell, Heineken boss. I pray God give him 100 drows, for I trow a knave brought him to house. Or things that rhyme. But now, brother wit, we must devose how that we may be in service with wealth alway. Let me hear what thou canst do or say to help for to contrive it.
For thy pleasure that I shall. This will I do first of all, flatter and lie, and evermore call them my good masters still. Then with swearing, lying, polling, bribery, theft, and privy picking, thus I, shrewd wit, will ever be doing, I warrant thee ill will.
I can thee thank, this is well devised, and I, ill will, would have every man despised. But now, another thing must be contrived, or else all will be naught. There is one they call good remedy in this realm. He hath great authority. He is a nobleman and much worthy. Many things he hath wrought. He is called lust, discreet and indifferent, willing to fulfill his sovereign's commandment. He is not afraid to do right punishment.
Ooh.
Therefore of him I am afraid.
So am I too. This maketh me very sad. Yet oftentimes I have been hard bestrad. Now that I am warned of him, I am very glad. Some crafty wile for him shall ye had.
Peace, no more words, but mum, methinks I hear must wealth come. Kneel down and say such devout orison that they may hear us pray. Now, Jesus save wealth, health, and liberty.
Liberty and health returneth back with wealth.
Sirs, you will have both God's blessing. So are ye worth for your praying. Ye are well disposed and of good living. I will love you the better alway.
Sir, this do we use every day for wealth, health, and liberty to pray. This same is my brother to you, I say. He is an hard, honest man.
Forsooth, master, I am his brother. To be your servant was my coming hither. As long as we could be together, ye shall not perish then.
To have you both to service, I am content. How say you, liberty? Will you thereto consent? Will and wit God hath us lent. We may be glad of them.
If we should refuse will and wit, we were to blame, for they be fit. Therefore, by my will, they shall not flit. They be welcome to me.
God thank you, masters, all three. You shall find us poor, but true we cannot be. My tongue stumbles, I cry you mercy. We will be true, I should say.
Sirs, go your way home unto one place, and we will hie us after a pace, and when we come, we shall set you in case to have a living alway.
Then look ye do both truly and just, for we must put you in great trust. All our household guide ye must. Behave yourself well.
Masters, fear not, for I have wit enough to beguile myself and to beguile you. I have beguiled many one, I may say to... Oh, I pray you keep that in counsel.
Beware of that. What doth he say? Beguile us all, yet I charge thee, nay. You shall not beguile us. If I may, I will beware it be time.
Sir, be not angry, I you pray. The fool woteth not what he doth say. He meaneth that he will be profitable alway and save you many things.
What he meaneth I cannot tell, but his saying is not well. Depart hence, sirs, by my counsel, and tarry us at our lodging.
Now, an it please you, will you hear any singing? Therein I tell you I am somewhat cunning. Ye shall hear, and ye list.
Sir, I pray you sing and ye can.
Now will I begin like a lusty blood then.
And they sing. There's a lovely game here which turns up, and Simon, I don't think you've recorded this yet, but it's something to be aware of when we do record your bits for Respublica, which is a play pretty much on top of this one a year earlier, where the various vice characters in that are all pretending to be good people, and the mask keeps slipping and they keep forgetting. And they'll say, of course, we will destroy them all. No, we will save them all. All is good. And it's the same game here. And it feels like that. That worked really well last year. Should we put that gag in again? Yeah, let's use that one again. It feels like that. Also with the singing, there's so much music in this to punctuate the action. And Respublica has that as well. And I do wonder if that's a particular... it seems to be much more prominent in for Mary than it was for some of the others. That could be really massive speculation there, going too far, but it just might be a thing. It might not. Any other thoughts before we move a little bit further forward? No. Their stage direction says they sing and go out, but I'm not really sure who leaves.
I think it's Ill Will and Shrewd Wit.
Yeah,
we come back in later.
Yeah, so Ill Will and Shrewd. So
probably,
yeah, so
probably because we've made a mistake.
The bad people go out. Yeah, so it's Liberty. Yes, you're telling them to sing, and they sing, take it up, and they go. So
and before that, Health says, "Go wait depart hence by my counsel, and tarry us at our lodging." So we go there presumably.
So Ill Will. So I'm just making a note for future reference. So I just part of the exercise is tidying up the script to make it more legible for the future. Okay, so they've sung and gone out, and Health takes up the cudgels.
Sirs, now go your way. Of you I'm glad, as of any servants that ever I had. For these can do both good and bad. We must needs have such men. What were we if we lacked will? And without wit we should live ill. Therefore will and wit I will keep still. I promise you I love them.
Here cometh Remedy, mentioned earlier, and to him saith,
Sir, your mastership is heartily welcome. Take your place here above, as it is reason.
I pray you pardon us. We know not what ye be. Ye seem a man of honour and great authority.
So, to know whereof ye come, we are desirous.
I am he that ought to be well known of you three specially, and of duty, great pain and business as for mine own. For you I have taken because I love you. To maintain you is all my desire and faculty. Yet hard it to do, the people be so variable, and many be so wilful, they will not be reformable.
Sir, I pray you pardon us of our ignorance now. I see well ye know us better than we do you.
I pardon you, for I do know you well both. Wealth and health is your right names, the which England to forbear were very loth. For by wealth and health cometh great fame, many other realms for our great wealth shames. That they dare not presume, nor they dare not be bold, to strive again England with any right withhold.
Sir, ye be welcome. I beseech you, show us your name.
Good Remedy, forsooth, I am the same.
If I durst be so bold, I would pray you heartily to show us a part of your great authority.
My authority is given to me most special, to maintain you three in this realm to be. What mine is I will tell, but not all, for that were too long to rehearse of surety. And I desire you all to be loving to me, for your own ease come wealth and profit.
Good Remedy. Then we must desire your aiding. For by good remedy cometh all our preferring.
All that I do intend, if ye will thereto agree, and to be reformable for your own ease. It is not the thing that lieth only in me, but my good will, therefore, I will not cease. To have your love and favour, and thereby please all the world over, and to promote this realm. There you three may prosper. You perceive what I mean? The chief part of all the wealth lieth in great estates. Their substance and lands is right commendable. Prelates of this church is wealthy of riches. Merchants have merchandise and goods incomparable. Men of law and franklins is wealthy, which is laudable. Thus wealth of riches is divided diverse ways, and to these many charges come nowadays.
My heart rejoiceth to hear your good reporting. Much we abound to God, which provideth all things.
Forsooth, here is not half that I could rehearse. The benefits of God that he showeth to you, wealth, consider Englishmen, how valiant they be, and of none nations none such, when they have their health. No land can do us harm, but with falsehood or stealth. Remember what number of men or artillery and good ordnance. Especially the grace of God is our chief furtherance. If there be any that will grudge, surmise, or do ends, wealth, health, and liberty, then must I, for the same, show mine authority and power for to remedy it, so that none of you shall diminish nor amiss be ta'en. I, good remedy, therefore, may and will speak without blame, for the commonwealth and health, both of soul and body. That is my office and power, and therefore I have my authority.
Our Lord continue ye, and we thank you heartily, both for your good instruction and for your kindness, that you intend so well for us, good remedy, when we have need, we will desire your goodness.
When we be infect in the soul or body, then will I seek good remedy for succour. As yet, I thank God I have no need greatly. If I have, then will I seek to have your favour.
So, now we will depart hence, with your license, for other diverse business that we must have together.
Sirs, I am content. Now, when ye will depart, to God I commit you. I will not make you tarry, but yet, I pray with all my mind and heart, take heed, in any wise eschew ill and shrewd company. If a man be never so, he shall lose his name, and to some vice they will him tempt. Therefore beware of such people, and from them be exempt.
Yes, I warrant you, of such I will beware. Farewell, good remedy, and well to fare.
I pray God.
And there we have the exit of the wealth, liberty, and health. I think all three go there at that point, do they not? So, thoughts on good remedy? Who is this person? What are they? And thoughts in the room, please.
Charity for me, I guess. I don't know. Maybe this is where the kind of church thing comes in. Perhaps it's charity. I don't know. Remedy seems like a nice, reasonable person, of course, which is the purpose. A socialist state, caring.
Or self-regulation. You know?
Yeah.
It's that part of you that says, oh yes, no, I will drink 5 glasses of water today and do some exercise because it's good for me.
It's Andy from Headspace, of course. That's it.
I mean, like final.
Oh, sorry, go Fiona.
It's like a kind of a final option, someone who can step in when anyone else kind of fails. really, like a kind of a well, I guess a remedy, final solution to help.
Sort of panacea.
Yeah.
Almost maybe a superego if you want to go Freudian.
Because it does seem a slightly even more abstract than some of the more abstract allegorical figures. I don't have a handle on good remedy. It's sort of like everything tidy, but
there's a bit of temperance there, and also a bit of justice. He comes in, he must be wearing some kind of robes of state, because they instantly start treating him like an authority. Right as he comes in, they say, take your place above, so it be, it's right. And then he starts talking about England. I, good remedy, therefore may and will speak without blame for the commonwealth and health of both the soul and body. That
So this
is
could
my
be
office
your
and power.
cardinal.
Yeah, a cardinal or a justice, maybe a judge.
I was thinking a burgess,
Yeah.
Alderman kind of thing.
Yeah, there is a reference to having a gown and a cap and things. So there is some. I think you're absolutely right about the costuming. I think it's clearly some authority figure. Shall we move forward?
Yeah.
Any additional thoughts?
I was just thinking, he makes reference to England a lot, and he, thinking of him as this kind of stabilizing force, he contrasts a lot with Hance, who obviously has appeared drunk, and also kind of admits, the one bit that we do kind of understand from him is that he sort of admits to taking wealth over to Flanders. And so it's quite interesting that Remedy very much posits himself as, Englishman, and remedying kind of issues with wealth and health, kind of restoring order.
Order, that's,
Order, yeah. Is it a very Protestant thing that we're talking about here?
Well, yes, that's where the text is. That's where the confusion about when it was written comes in, because it does seem to, according to the few notes I've read, it has a Protestant sort of anti-Catholic bias it's somewhere within it, though I haven't explicitly gone, aha, yes, down with the Pope anywhere. But
I haven't seen any kind of overt references to kind of idolatry or anything, which you'd usually expect. But
there doesn't seem to. It's not overly religious in that sense at all. Actually, it's not been desperately dogmatic in that regard at all. It's been much more philosophical in its sort of emphasis. But shall we crack on and see if we get a few more clues, because we may be just speculating on not enough evidence, which is always dangerous. So stand by the re-entrance of ill will and shrewd wit. So Remedy, as you're saying, farewell to health, et al.
I pray God be your speed and preserve you from pain. It is my mind you should prosper, I would have it so fain.
And ill will and wit returneth, sorry.
Here is none of our acquaintance. We have made 2 long tarriance. That will you say, perchance, and they be gone home. Come away, apiece.
Nay, by God,
Sorry.
not so hasty. A little while we will tarry. Ah, good even, sir, to you, Mary. Dwell ye in this place?
Nay, good fellow, I dwell not here. Wherefore dost thou that inquire? Holdest thou aught with any here? Speak, be not afraid.
By God, I would I had your gown, and were a mile without the town. Thereon I could borrow a crown. It is I that so said.
How lookest thou on him half a scorn? I promise you, he is a scant gentleman born. What sayest thou in his face?
For somewhat in his face I look. Indeed, his mastership stands a crook. For false shrews both of you I took, and children that be past grace.
I will swear for him, as for these years 20, that he hath been ever as true as I. Yet some time he will steal and make a lie. He is of my alliance.
In good faith, the same think I, that ye both that ye be both like unthrifty. Sirs, how do ye live? Show me quickly, or I shall put you in durance.
How live we? Marry, our meat? Comest thou hither for to threat? So lordly Sir Witton doth speak. From whence doth he come, can ye show?
What dost thou ail? Canst thou tell? Hast thou anything with us to mell? By the mass, thy hands doth tickle. They shall bear me a blow.
You false thieves, I know ye well. I shall let your purpose every deal. Ill will and shrewd wit, the devil of hell. Take ye both for me.
Marry, thou liest. Our names be not so. Call us but wit and will. Add no more thereto. If thou dost, thou wert as good know we shall handle you shrewdly.
Sirs, farewell. I will no longer abide. For you both shortly I will provide, that all your false craft shall be outried, and your subtlety known.
And he goeth out.
To go so soon the whoreson was wise. Therefore some now I must devise, that each man may wealth, health, and liberty despise, or else he will mar all our matter. Brother, what? Let me alone. When they come, you shall see me anon complain of him unto them each one, and put him out of favour.
Peace! No more words, for they come yonder.
Wealth, health, and liberty cometh in.
Sirs, I am glad that you be here. How doth all our household? With them what cheer? Is everything in order there, after our intent?
Yea, sir, they be all merry and glad. With revel and rout sometime they be mad. Pipe whore, hop thief, every knave and drab is at our commandment.
Health turneth him.
What do ye say? Then ye are to blame, and we put you in trust for the same. To keep such rule, it is a shame. It is not for our honour.
By the mass the whoreson doth lie. There is no such rule by God's body. A man may break his neck as lightly as his fast in your kitchen or cellar, truly.
Liberty turneth him.
With that neither I'm not content. I would there should be liberality competent, and with honesty it is convenient that our neighbour fare the better.
You be angry with all that we have done? Come away, brother. Let us go hence soon. I know a new master where we shall be welcome. God be with you, gentle master.
Why, will ye be gone for a word? Peradventure we did but board. Methink you should your master afford for to speak my mind.
Nay, nay, I can tell what was the matter. Remedy was here, and he did flatter. Ye trust he more than us, and better. But mark the end, what ye shall find.
With good remedy we spake, indeed, to follow his counsel we had need. He warned us that we should take heed of excess and prodigality.
I marvel ye speak so of good remedy. It is I that can do more than he. Wit can make shift at necessity when remedy cannot be heard. I know some that hath this 1,000 years sought good remedy, and that yet never the near. Wit can put remedy by, yea, this is clear, for wit is a crafty lad.
And Will is an ungracious stay. Will hath done many things men say, and if ye let Wit and Will go his way, ye will repent it soon.
Why, what cause have you to go your way? You shall abide with us, though you say nay. I will follow Will and Wit alway, and so I have ever done.
If I wist all my masters would so do, then from your service I would not go. Speak now, whether ye will or no, and let us know your mind.
Sirs, ye be welcome to me plain, and for your company I am full fain. I had liever suffer great pain than to leave my wit and will.
Then let us go hence. With kindness my heart do kill.
I pray you, let us go. Wherefore do we bide still?
And everybody goes out. Lots of interesting things. I just want to flag up those two stage directions. health turneth him, liberty turneth him. It's like it's a really specific, it's a really interesting stage direction. Thoughts about that? Because we've also got potentially suggested fight action, whether it's actual fight, proper fighting going on or not as well. So there's stuff going on here, as well as obviously Shrewd Wit telling these porcupines to try and turn them against Remedy, who's seen through them very, very clearly. You know, he's clearly a good justice character who knows a wrong 'un the moment he sees them. So thoughts about those stage directions?
Well, I missed it when I read it, but I'm wondering if actually there should be an aside, maybe pipe whore, hot thief, every knave and drab is at our commandment. That might be another under the breath thing, which makes health turn ill will, which going back on it might actually explain it.
Yes, because after mad there is a hyphen there, and that does suggest that there's an aside coming in there. Because is it health turns around having heard, or is it health grabbing you and turning you around?
Yeah, that's what I see it as. Yeah, I'm wondering if it's kind of, you know, it's like evil mutter, and then what?
I'll just write that stage direction in.
Evil mutter. I'm writing that down.
You can have that one.
That's official. That's a technical term. Very popular in the early modern period. Yes. Any other thoughts about that? Do we agree that it's that's sort of the idea, or
It's kind of like Marx Brothers, or the Stooges, guy grabbing each other by the shoulders and spinning around, and no, listen to me, and listen to me,
little Joe.
Yes, it is that thing. This is one you really feel we need to workshop physically, and that would be actually really helpful.
Because ill will and shrewd wit keep threatening to just leave, and obviously they don't want to be dismissed. But the threat to leave needs to be real, and wealth and health need to somehow keep them there.
And it's sorry, I've lost my place. I had a note somewhere. Any other thoughts while I hunt for my follow-on thought?
That we have another clue to Remedy's nature, where he meets them both and he threatens to put them in durance. So that sort of that aligns with Remedy as justice, as recourse, as we would say now. That again, he has to be remedy for an ill, and if the ill is a moral ill, then remedy is justice, I guess.
Yeah.
So now we get maybe the play being representative of state, perhaps, and statehood.
This is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. It does seem to be an estates play, because we keep talking about merchants, and there are sort of class levels being referenced throughout this, and I think that's quite an explicit. And I think there was a point where Remedy was talking explicitly about estates. The chief part of all our wealth lieth in great estates. So he's talking about the structure of the kingdom and the importance of social structure. So there is something establishment definitely about him.
I suppose.
Sorry.
Sorry. No. Carry on.
I was just thinking that it's a great traveling play. I mean, if you're doing this and you can flatter your audience. I mean, you would have the Burgess in there. You do the mayor's play at every city that you go to. So it's a way also of making that perfect state. So I'm really curious as to when this was actually written.
Well, I'd say it is that problem. It looks like it's somewhere around the reign of Queen Mary, and then retooled slightly later. So it's 1550s, 60s orbit. Yeah. And that would fit. There is a nascent touring
it fits, and it's also the idea that Elizabeth was, of course, trying to deflect religion completely and bring together the civic duty for everybody. Was going towards that. She was settling her reign actually at that point, wasn't she? That first decade. was her saying like, "This is the way we're going to rule things."
Yes. And even then, it's still feeding back from a discussion of the estates, the various classes that you had. That goes back 30 years as well, but it's doing it in a slightly different way. And so, yeah, you do get that sense of this shifting form. As you know, this week we have slowly progressed, not perfectly in a straight line through history, but we are moving forward by an arrow of time in this particular journey. It's going to get very Dadaistic next week, but what can you do? Okay, we're going to go back to our sort of subplot, shall we call it? With Remedy is going to encounter Hance in just a moment. So, shall we? Remedy cometh in alone.
As touching my first purpose, hither I am come again. I trow ye know me, good Remedy is my name, that every day doth take great labour or pain to amend all faults. I am chosen to the same, if any man's conscience here doth grudge or shame, having in himself remorse, amends in time and space. I am good Remedy, and God is full of mercy and grace. Therefore I will stand aside, and a little while remain, of wealth, health, and liberty for to inquire, how they be ordered, and if any man complain, I will be glad to show my remedy. Methink I see one appear.
Hance cometh in.
De godsdrause, ik mijzelf ben kumte schoon landsman. Ik moet in ander land lopen, alles kwade dan.
Thou, Fleming, from whence comest thou, and what dost thou here?
Ik mijzelf komt from St. Catherine's Docks. Moet ik schunne de ken bier?
Get thee thither again, and tarry here no longer.
Sir, ik moet met je spreken. Ik mijzelf ben een schoenmaker.
What and thou be? Therewith I have nothing to do.
Ik des al verloren. Kopen is dood. Ik mag not door daartoe.
I pray thee, go hence. For doth me ill.
Nee, niks zeker. Ik wil niet gaan. Ik word fain live hoor stil.
There is too many alliance in this realm. Now I, good Remedy, have so provided that Englishmen shall live the better daily.
Wat zeg je? Bij Gods drauze, daar is de kwaaie man. Bij de morgen gooi ik myself love the schone Englishman.
Fie on thee, flattering knave. Fie on all you aliens, all I say. Ye can with craft and subtle away.
Oh, schoon master. Ik heb horen binnen dus 13 jaar. Ik kan scoort de kulver in en ik kan de beren, broer.
Yes. Missing line here. Sorry.
Just see so provide that wealth you have I shall.
Ik zeg te you dat wealth is lopen in een ander country. We hebben graag de broer, versta je niet, zeg me.
I understand thee well, yet thou liest like a knave. Wealth is here in England, and wealth still I trust we shall have.
Ik meent no kwaad. Ik love the Englishman bij mijn bier. Kom bij St. Catherine en ik zal je geven 2 stoepen bier.
Get thee hence, drunken Fleming, thou shalt tarry no longer here.
Moet het niet maar hier ben woder, zal ik geweest kisken. Ik wil to de keizer gaan, daar zal ik wat skinken.
And he goeth out. Lots of that's really quite explicitly "Go away, you foreign devil."
And
it feels different to the rest of the play. It doesn't. Some of those lines look very odd.
Right. I'm wondering if it's argument rather than obviously it's argument, but I mean, as in, I was wondering whether that passage, when I was hearing that passage there, is it overtly xenophobic, or is it opening up in a strange way a debate? Because Hance he's not scheming, he's not kind of like scuttling and overtly evil, and I wonder if maybe it's the author actually saying, well, are all foreigners bad? Should that be something we say? But I don't know if that's me with a modern projection, if that makes sense.
Yes, is Remedy or automatically a perfectly good figure? I mean, there's something quite touching about the way, in fact, it's actually what he says, when he returns and goes, "Hello, do you remember me?" That there's something possibly a bit dottery and out of touch in the nature of who he is. His heart might be in the right place, but maybe he's not actually in aligned properly with the real world. Again, you're right. We might be overthinking that. And also the fact that Hance feels like he's trying harder to communicate.
Yeah.
Whereas I think in the previous scene he was just talking. Feels like you are trying to remember the correct words.
And Remedy tells him off for flattery, but like he's being really nice.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's quite industrious as well. Like it does present him as, albeit drunk, actually. Yeah, he's certainly not an evil character.
No,
he's perfect maybe, but not evil.
Well, he's one of the things it seems that the Dutch in London did was brew beer and keep pubs. And he says, come to St. Catherine's Docks, I'll give you 2 stoups of beer. He's offering goodwill as he sees it. It's not the moral good that Remedy wants. And there's something kind of unpleasantly modern about there is too many aliens in this realm, but now I, good Remedy, have provided that Englishmen shall live the better. And Hance says, I've lived here 13 years, 13 years, and I can shoot the culverin, I can brew beer, and presumably he's also a shoemaker.
So maybe it's we have need of allies, and I'm wondering if that helps us date it as well. Are we pre-Spanish Armada?
Definitely pre-Spanish Armada.
Well, I think it's what Liza said earlier with the Nonsuch Treaty happened in 85, was it?
Right.
So I think we're building up to the whole Netherlands thing, and Elizabeth sending forces over. Which happened in the mid-1580s, of course.
Yeah, and that would make sense as to why a joke about Dutch immigrants seems to have such play, is that Dutch Protestant refugees were welcomed in England. Right. So I guess this takes it out of Mary's time and into Elizabeth's.
It's a continuum, because we've got Flemish workers from 1381. And earlier. So, we've got there are definitely a presence in the city, in London, and presumably various coastal.
Well, specifically in Southwark, there was a big Dutch population.
There was. Go ahead, Will.
No. There's something that it's also in the nature of the Dutch. The Dutch are also travelers, foreigners, go to another country, learn what they need, want, and supply it to them, but also to be aware of the fact that they're going to be hated for the things they're bringing. They're not stupid. They know that this animosity is there, directed towards them, and they're dealing with it on the ground. I get that sense from Hance, and I just suddenly had the CE. It also makes it like Hansi. Hey, Hanse. And
yes.
You know what I mean? So like Hansi is much more colloquial than Hans. I think auch auf Deutsch doch. We have a German speaker too. Yeah.
I thought that it came that it was partly riffing on the personal name Hance, but it was also partly from Snap Hance, because he's a gunner. Snap Hance, for those who don't know, it's lock that is after the dog lock, but before the flint lock. It's a mechanism for firing a gun.
Oh. Wow.
Excellent.
So a lot.
We now move into the closing acts, as it were. Various bits of coming and going as we rattle towards the end. We'll probably pause at least once before we reach the end. So Remedy is still on stage, and then Health will come and join with a kerchief on their head. So Remedy, cue in the entrance of Health, please.
Is he gone? I pray God the devil go with him. Where is wealth, health, and liberty? I would see them come in.
Health cometh in with a kerchief on his head.
Oh, good Lord, help me. By your license, my sovereign, I am homely to come here in your presence thus diseased. Need constraineth me, for remedy I would have fain. I am infect, both body and soul. I pray you be not displeased.
Why, what ail you? Show me. Yet you I do not know. Glad I am to remedy any man that is infirmity. I perceive by your physiognomy that ye are very weak, feeble, and low. Yet show me your grief, and I will help you gladly.
Gracious remedy, I thank you. Yet I am half ashamed to show you my malady and my name. I was called Health. Therefore I am well worthy to be punished and blamed, because I have not followed your counsel. But all thing may be suffered, save wealth.
Are you Health? This maketh me very pensive and sad. Yet be of good cheer, and show how you were infect. To remedy you and succour you, I would be very glad. For God will punish the people when they be detect.
Sir, I thank God thereof, for well worthy I am. My conscience doth judge some trouble have I must. Amends I will make to God, and if I can. Wit and will have deceived me. In them I put my trust.
If thou have done amiss and be sorry therefore, then half amends is made, for that is contrition. Let that pass. Now will I ask you one thing more. Where be wealth and liberty? Be they of good disposition?
As for wealth, he is fallen in decay and necessity by waste and war, through ill will and shrewd wit. And liberty is kept in durance and captivity. God help us all, and send us good remedy for it.
For to hear this tale, it maketh my heart heavy. Yet be of good comfort. God is full of grace, and I am good.
Sir, then I beseech you, help us in the way of charity.
I would fain, but I cannot tell which way to begin, except I might catch will and wit. Then, I trow, I could tie them shorter, for they destroy wealth, health, and liberty by sin. If I had the thieves, punish them extremely, I would.
You may soon catch them if ye will stand aside. From this place they too will not long abide.
Methinketh I hear them come. Help to hold them fast.
Ill will turneth.
Is it possible to have a little bell at this point? Just because I think before we get thank you very much, too further past it, we've probably all clocked it, but we now know who Remedy is. Sovereign. It's the monarch.
Yeah.
So
also, we know what turneth means. It's returneth. It's it's a thing about earlier. It's liberty returneth him. So he's going to go and come back rather than a turning motion. Yes.
Just gives it a completely different feel now.
Yeah. And yeah, so
is it possible that bit between him and Hance was inserted later?
Yes, that's why it felt like. You see, that's the thing. It didn't quite feel. Certainly, that second one doesn't quite feel right. And something about the dialogue felt a bit hinky. And it might also explain, I wonder if we look at the doubling, if we took Hance and that sequence out, whether that might change there might be a structural change that occurs as well, to make it more doubleable. But let's not go too much into that. Let's
you can imagine like a Hollywood exec saying,
so anyway, ill will returneth, I think we can interpolate as that. So poor health, not in the best of health. Health is not healthy. Poor
Come in, wit.
So ill wit returneth.
Health is not in health, it's Matt Hancock. Come in, wit, for here is nobody, if you caught the news today. We may be bold and talk largely, our hearts to ease, and show plainly what we have done.
I must
Rude
needs
wit
laugh.
comes in.
I must needs laugh. I cannot forbear to remember war. That knave, will you hear? The Whoreson Fleming was beshitten for fear, because he should void so soon.
Hark! Now do I marvel by this bread, for I ween surely that health be dead. I saw him go with a cutcher on his head, as he should go to hanging.
Hark, in thine ear, if the Whoreson hap to complain to him that wears the red cap, I fear then shortly he will us clap by the heels from our living.
Nay, there is no doubt, by him I have reported all about, that he doth not well this good name to put out. Ill will cannot say well.
friend, therein thou art the more to blame to slander me wrongfully and undeserved. But or thou depart, thou shalt answer for the same. Where is wealth and liberty? How hast them ordered?
Curie, Jesus gestis is on malt ombra, miis on spainardo con poco palavere.
Okay, non comprom meet me, no, speaky English, no. I think we should also just acknowledge there's nothing better than beshitten for fear, and the double meaning, because he should void so soon, that he's going to be forced out of the country, but also he voids himself for fear of voiding. General note: if you do come across an odd or, it's usually an ere, E-R-E. That's what it will mean. So you'll get when you get a random. But ere thou depart, thou shalt answer for the same. It's written or. It probably sounds or, but the meaning is ere, if that makes sense. So yes, you've come on. You're laughing at poor health, etc., who's upstage or to one side. You haven't seen them. They suddenly surprise you, and ill will immediately pretends not to understand.
And carries on.
Health doesn't believe for a second that. So let's just go from there. Thou false thief.
Thou false thief, is thine English tongue gone? As mischievous ill will and shrewd wit, ye have destroyed many one.
Sir, hurt not me, and I will tell you truth anon. This same as false a knave as ever came within St. John's.
Per amor di mai, aspica un poco o io quieres andar por la ton creoso.
I cannot tell what thou dost mean, babbler, but thou shalt speak English and confess another matter.
Sir, I beseech your lordship in the way of charity, let not these thieves escape your hands. They have destroyed us utterly.
Sir, believe him not. He speaks but of malice only. We be true men. Thereof we shall fetch good witness, an honest man that shall be bound for him and me. The law saith plain, nulla fides contra testes.
Yes.
That's the truth, but who will be witness or bound for thee?
There is 3 among you in this house.
I will go to fetch them quickly.
They will come unsent for, I warrant you, if they wist. What be their names? Tell me what they be.
That one is John Irish and John Shola. But fool, these be honest men, all 3.
Trust not their words. They will dissemble still. They are so false and crafty. All their intent is ill.
Ye lie falsely. I speak but right and reason, and by the law of arms you must needs be ta'en. You are called good remedy, which at all seasons should lean to man's life and maintain the same. We be here both your prisoners, wrongfully accused by defame. Keep one of us fast. Let him lie for all, that other for friends and witness go shall.
Sir, let not him go and leave me behind. He will ever be a false knave, for I know his mind.
Hold thy tongue, foolish knave. I do not mean so.
I hear now ye cannot agree which of you should go.
No, by God's body, there shall none go, but I.
Thou playest the knave, it must needs be I.
Keep them safe, I pray you, for if they escape again, many men shall repent it. It shall be to our pain.
They be here yet. To keep them fast is mine intent. Have them away both to prison incontinent.
Lo, false knave, this is for thy crafty wit. Now, fast by thy heels we are like to sit.
I am content, so that I may have company. If I should be hanged, I would be hanged honestly.
And goeth out.
Go hence with them, and bring wealth and liberty.
Come away, ye thieves. Now I shall keep you surely.
And goeth out.
Lock us up, and keep us as fast as you can. Yet ill will and shrewd wit shall be with many a man.
Well, hey!
I'll just pause there for a second. Those goeth outs seem misplaced. I think there's I never trust a stage direction as to where it actually lives. They're always in the wrong place, a few lines early or late. So a general removal of people.
Is it maybe shrewd wits just run off though? I should be hanged. I would be hanged honest.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the thing that turns up quite a lot. Is the moment you're discovered, you try and dob the other person in it, and that happens quite a few times in things. I do love that sort of that betrayal of one of the other. No, it was him. I had nothing to do with me.
I do love how they turn on each other, but I think Shrewd Wit's last line is resignation. That ill will is like, this is all your fault, and now we're going to jail. And Shrewd Wit is like, well, at least we're going together.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he runs away.
And ill will has that. And ill will has that wonderful exit line, just like, you know, we're still part of you. You can't get rid of us.
Yeah, suckers.
Yeah.
Is Shrewd Wit pretending there? Just says, oh, well, I'm hanging around if I'm going to be hanged, and then runs like crazy.
That would be
Last
fun.
second.
Yeah, that was how I interpreted it. Like, he was like, oh, well, never mind.
Well, that's assuming that stage direction there should be there. I suspect it shouldn't. I suspect you're all being led out together in one go. But again, that's one to play around with. I fundamentally do not trust the text in as a good representation of what the play might have been like. This edition, I feel distrustful of. But we shall see. Now, I know health came in. Did we have an entrance for any of the other liberty and wealth?
No, we're just going to magically appear.
Yeah.
I think they're in the prison where they're taking us.
Yeah,
so they're taking us to jail and bringing them out.
So Remedy's speech that's about to happen is quite
good.
Is a crossfade to get everyone on and off. That makes sense. Okay.
Remedy does ask health to bring wealth and liberty.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So it's a quite quick turnaround, but that seems perfectly reasonable. And I don't get the impression that Remedy, as a character, is a fast talker. I get the impression that it's a very stately figure, as we established. So let's conclude the happy ending.
I am half ashamed that long it hath been said that noble men by such wretches have been deceived. They did rejoice and jest, and were all very well apaid, trusting to escape clear and still to have reigned. But now they shall not so. Let them be well assured that ill will and shrewd wit shall have but ill rest. For wheresoever they be, I will break their nest.
In the honour of God, we ask you forgiveness, all three. We ought to be ashamed to look you in the face. By our folly and negligence, we have done so unwisely. We were foully deceived. We put us to your grace. This shall be a good warning for us a long space. When man is well punished, then he will beware. Who that knoweth what need is, will after dread care.
I may not blame you greatly, for by mine own reason I know ill will and shrewd wit deceiveth great and small. If you can remember this and beware another season, this is a good example and learning to you all. Now serve God and love him, and for grace ever call, and ill will and shrewd wit from you I shall abstain. Ye have used them too long to your damage and pain.
Forsooth, sir, ye say the truth. They did us great displeasure. Full hard it is to vanquish the ungracious ill will. He is so crooked by flattery, dissimulation, and such other. Man's mind is so variable, and glad to report ill. I fear many one yet would have him reign still. For some unto their own will hath so much affection, yet the devil and ill will is both of one complexion.
Ill will is naught, but worse is shrewd wit, for he contriveth all subtle imagination. It were impossible for a man else to do it. Shrewd wit breweth mischief, and false conspiration. He hath put me liberty in prison and great tribulation. If it had not been for your good remedy and furtherance, I and other that have liberty should have been in durance.
Be all of good cheer, and have no mistrust. The end of ill will and shrewd wit is but shame. Though they reign a while wrongfully and unjust, yet truth will appear, and their misdeeds blame. Then wrong is subdued, and good remedy ta'en. Through falsehood cloak and hide his matters all. Craft will out, and deceit will have a fall. Whereas ye are now in distress all three, ne'er were ye brought in a case like to mar. Now have ye no doubt, if ye will be ruled after me, I shall restore ye again as well as ever ye were. Health, keep all this realm, look ye stray not far, and health, be of good cheer, your disease I can soon mend. Liberty, now ye be so released, do no more offend.
Now let us all thank God that good remedy hath sent. Trust to him only for his grace and goodness. We ask forgiveness of our trespass, I trust we will amend, and clean forsake sin, folly, and unthriftiness. Thus we will here conclude. Sovereign, of your graciousness, we beseech you to remit our negligence and misbehaviour. There we have said amiss. We commit all to your favour.
And for your preservation heartily we will pray, your realm to increase with joy and tranquillity, that wealth, health, and liberty may continue here alway, by the oversight and aid of him that is good remedy, which willingly doth his duty under your authority, as part here appeareth, your purpose to maintain. God continue his goodness, that long he may reign.
Jesu, preserve Queen Elizabeth, the noble princess worthy. Jesu, continue her health long for to endure. Jesu, endure her in virtue, grace, and honour. Jesu, maintain the lords of the council to execute good remedy ever. Jesu, speed and help them all them God's honour to further. Jesu, increase the commonality to prosper and do well.
Wow.
Wow.
So, there you have it. A good kingdom needs wealth, health, and liberty for the and to be graciously ruled by good remedy. Of course, the lifespan of this text could go back even further. The hint at the end there, because of course we're talking about Queen Elizabeth, noble princess. So we could be going back to Henry VIII as a starting point for this.
I strongly think, absolutely. Before that came in, actually, I was thinking, no, this is absolutely Henry. This is all about discouraging treason in any way, about his rule, because of course there's stuff about God's representative on earth, which is lots of language that was surrounding Henry. There was something about dread as well, which of course when you think dread can be king, dread sovereign. I can't remember what that is, but I think that really could be it. But certainly whichever monarch, for me, having now heard that out again, I feel it's all about one thing, which is just trust in the monarch.
Yeah, for sure. But they could never, if we're harking back to Henry, we could never say Queen Elizabeth, because who would ever know that Elizabeth would be queen?
I would feel that's an addition, though.
Yeah,
I kind
you
of
think that you see that additionally?
I think that might be something added on because it's the last thing. That's what, just picking up what Robert was saying, because that's how I would read it anyway, personally. Interesting.
Very.
Any other thoughts? I'm just throwing things out there, seeing what sticks.
Well, I mean, if this, to me, what this reads like is, again, I'm spitballing here. I have no authority for this. I'm just thinking that if it was an old play that was rewritten, I'm guessing it was Elizabeth was arriving in town and they needed something to show her. Like, oh shit, okay, here's an old script. But it is a good script for a change of monarch. It's a sort of those bad people who controlled everything under the old monarch are out of favor now, and we're going to have a good realm, and a completely different set of bad people.
Maintain the lords of the council. I think it's sort of like, we know what they've been like before, but these ones are okay, aren't they?
Yeah.
So again, it becomes loyalty to the new queen then, rather than only hearkening for somebody who seemed to be illegitimate, etc., maybe.
Yes.
Very interesting.
And the question of, because in that sense, it's the question of who are the people behind behind her as well. Who are those particular lords of the council, and who's in and who's out, and who's lobbying? Because you've got to remember, there's a certain amount of soft power that's being executed with these plays. Is that they're not all directly for the monarch. They're sometimes just simply for different factions or different whoever's paying the interluders. They will be whichever household they might be part of, if they are. Whichever patron they have, there might be some explicit or less explicit messaging going on here that X Lord is fabulous and really trustworthy. It might be that he is good remedy.
Remedy wears a red cap, we established in the final scene. I wonder what that bodes.
So maybe remedy changes throughout the play, which is why we've all had so many different readings of it, because I mean, for me, it's very explicit if you say sovereign, unless, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I would have thought when it's sovereign, that would always refer to the monarch. But then, as we were all saying before, it felt always like clergy before. So perhaps Remedy isn't one character. Maybe Remedy wears many hats at different parts of the piece.
Well,
depending on what what remedy is required.
Yeah.
Like the remedy of sometimes health is requiring a remedy, sometimes wealth is requiring remedy. So Remedy is a fluid character who changes depending on what's needed in the moment.
There is also the possibility that it's not an absolutely tidy allegory.
Sure.
That it can be some things that are slightly contradictory, and that she's not. And sometimes you've got to be careful not to explicitly say that X is X or Y, and that two people can represent elements of both. So in the sense that wealth, health, and liberty are all part of the country, and that Remedy is part of that as well, but is also more in charge of it. And it's not absolute. And I think sometimes we can tie ourselves in knots by saying this is X and this is Y, when it can be that they are elements of each other as well.
It's true. But certainly at the end, Remedy seems to be law. And law well applied is the health of the Commonwealth in any case. That Remedy judges the two bad characters and Remedy sends them to prison. Like...
And also, Remedy can heal with their hands, which is a very kingly thing. So, health, you have scrofula.
Yeah.
There's something vaguely Hobbesian about it. There's a bit of Leviathan going on here. There's sort of the body of people, the body of England.
Could Remedy also be? Could it be God, or would they make that more explicitly religious if it was meant to be God? In those sort of terms, you know.
Yeah, I don't think they'd go there. I don't. If they're going to have God, they'd have God, and I think by this point, pretty much whichever period we're talking about, you're very unlikely to. You're getting to the point where putting God on stage starts getting tricky.
Well, also in England at the time, we're supposed to be the anointed sovereign, right? God's representative, not the Pope, of course, but the monarch. So God seems to be used as a device to say, yes, God approves of Remedy, and who's Remedy? Oh, hi, me. Bow.
Okay, I think we might be tying ourselves in knots in too little data. Anyone watching or listening to this, do comment and get in touch if you know things that we don't, because we're not pretending that we really know things. I'm trying to really highlight I know very little about what's going on in this text, and I'm spitballing because around it. I mean, generally, to do a really loose thing, I quite liked it. I quite liked this play. It was quite sweet. It had lots of nice things going to it. It didn't quite pack a punch, but I don't think it was trying to. And I think that's a very noble and reasonable thing that plays sometimes can do. It's not being very original, but I don't think that's fine. I think that's fine. Any thoughts about how you felt about the play overall, or the other characters, and the flow of it all? How does that feel as an entertainment? Mischief? Not Mischief. There's Stefanie. You've been very quiet. Do you have any thoughts, as well as anyone else? I don't know if you are there. I'm going to go with no. Any other thoughts?
Well, the little extract you got at the start. So would this have been like something? It says being for children in English with syllables, also a book of 100.
Well, that's the selection of things on the stationer's register at the time. Those are the other books that were registered. So the book called 100 Merry Tales is a book published by William Rastall, So they are separate
like that.
artifacts. That's just the full. That's
it's like a catalogue. So
yeah. So that's registered for publication. That's that, and there is the assumption that this play is that reference. So if that is, I mean, it might not be. That might be throwing us completely off a wrong tangent. But if that is the same text, has been registered in 1557, then sometime before, within a few years probably, sometime, slap bang in the middle of Queen Mary, is a starting point for the existence. That doesn't mean that this particular printing is that reference. It might be rewritten, and that's the thought, is that it's been tarted up slightly under Queen Elizabeth. That's the overall theories that's put forward with the few references I found. But anyway, more about the play, the dramaturgy, and the shape of things and the characters. How did it feel to people? Any thoughts?
I have an entirely anachronistic and frivolous thought about it. As we were reading it, I could just imagine it being played as a Western, as like a Hollywood Western with like Good Remedy as, the sheriff, I am the law, and he's kind of fairly humorless, but very, stands for good order, and is basically, I am the law in this town. And then you've got Ill Will and Shrewd Wit, doing their dastardly thing and ending up being thrown into prison. And you've got Wealth, who's the kind of pompous local dude who's been, sifting for gold and has made his pot of money. I don't know. There was something quite.
I think that's
just
really
imagine it. I can imagine it as a John Huston film,
It's the Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
You're Brenner, Steve McQueen.
The episode of Red Dwarf is exactly that.
I think actually that's a very good analog. Actually, I think that has a certain. I don't know if in rehearsal how far you could go with that, but I like that. That's really
Hance is clearly Charles Bronson.
Yeah.
Good with the knife.
That's it.
Oh my God.
I'm the sheriff in this town. Name's Remedy Calhoun.
You're Brenner.
I think I see that Stefanie is back online. Do you have any thoughts, Stefanie? Oh no, so she's not. I've got a chat message. So we will say fairly well to Stefanie.
Feel better.
Feel better. Feel better. Be well. Yes. So we've got a Western as an option. We had Panto at the top, and there's a lot of music, and room for action in that sense. It's one I think it does merit some delving. I didn't feel that the sort of the plot of the nasty characters come in and sort of separate everyone quite landed. It felt quite inconsequential.
Well, it wasn't really fulfilled. What they turned. Shrewd Wit says that they will turn health, wealth, and liberty all against each other. But all they do is turn, I think, health against remedy, saying, people wait years for remedy, and he just doesn't show up. Why would you trust him? And then we later see that health is sick, and we hear that wealth is poor, and that liberty is in prison. But we don't see any of that happen. And
No.
if we did, even if it were done very quickly, that bit of plot would feel much more complete.
Yeah, it's like there's an entire, like, quite dramatic scene that happens off stage there that we're sort of missing. Yeah.
I sense a dance sequence.
Yes. Okay, interpretive dance. Lovely. It reminds me, though, in an unfair way, there's a fragment called Albion Night, which is a very appropriate, you could almost call it modern politics primer 101, because the fragment starts the play where I can't remember what the name of the vices are, but it's something like mischief and division and something like that. And they basically spend 10 minutes explaining, right, we're going to turn the lords and the commons against each other, get them fighting so that we can come in, swoop in and take power. And if we just divide everybody, then that'll be fab. And they go into great detail about how they're going to do it. And then the fragment ends. And it's this frustrating thing of going, all we got was set up. The rest of the play looks fab, but then this play suggests that maybe you don't get the payoff always, or maybe if this did go through a process of being adjusted or rewritten, or cuts were made, we don't know what happened in the process to printing. Material gets lost, and maybe that scene did exist. Maybe we had it.
It's the kind of thing where you would maybe expect like a dumb show to happen, and just having kind of visual indications of like health becoming unwell, whatever that might look like, kind of as a physical manifestation. And obviously wealth would have, maybe like costume deteriorating and things like that. So you could kind of see how it might work. It's not that it's strange not have any mention of it at all with the script.
It all feels like just like a philosophical kind of well, not even philosophical, actually, not even that deeply, like a kind of an event with some speculative things about stuff, and like nothing much more to it. It's not a play or even an argument for the ages. Maybe more like a clown show, as you're saying about costume and things like that. Perhaps it's just a spectacle that came and went, and someone documented it, or somebody picked up all the fragments and put them together a little bit. And danced over the dance bit.
I don't think I'd go that far. I think, but I might go a little way towards you. I think it doesn't quite land, but I think there's some really charming things in it that I really like. And I think it definitely deserves a physical workshop on it. I'd really like to see what happens physically going on with this.
It would be fun to read on its feet, wouldn't it? I feel
More
like
fun, yeah.
the comedy, certainly the physical comedy and the knockabout stuff, could be a lot of fun to read. And there might even be the opening dialogue between wealth and health. If you were on your feet, if you said, okay, the stage is this big, there's only place for one of you in the spotlight. What do you both do?
Yeah.
Or wealth takes up this much space and health takes up that much space.
Yeah. So, Joseph, you was going to say something there.
I was going to say that there was something a bit Morecambe and Wise about that opening scene.
Yeah. No. It is that sense that it's one thing working in an audio medium. We find that actually you'd think, long speech, that'd be great audio. It's terrible audio. Yeah. You can't. There's something about the physicality of telling an audience something that actually conveys additional meaning, and it's a real challenge. The battle scenes are always so much easier to convey because you paint a different picture. So long speeches like this, in this context, I think it was harder for me to grapple onto. But I think in a dynamic space, that opening is much more effective. And I really liked that opening. There was something really, really lovely about the fact that they were having an argument, but they weren't arguing. They were having a civilized debate, and that was lovely. And I think we've been missing that in world politics for a while.
It reminds me a bit, although far less antagonistic, but of the opening to A Warning for Fair Women, where you've got the muses kind of arguing over which genre should take precedence for the rest of the...
Sorry, say the play title again?
A Warning for Fair Women.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you've got history and comedy and tragedy all going, well, no, this is clearly my play. No, it's my play, and kind of like battling out. And they're a lot more personal. They kind of they make some pretty nasty jabs at one another. But then comes to the conclusion that based on what the audience are wearing, it's probably tragedy's turn.
Yes, we put the black drape up. It's
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah.
No, that's an induction that I've one of the inductions. So we're starting to look. We Fiona is our epiloguist for the podcast. We have a prologuist, and we're starting to do more work on inductions as well. And that's one of the ones on my radar that I really want to get around to doing. When normality returns. Okay, I think we've possibly come to a conclusion. Any final thoughts around the room before we close the feed?
Well, for me, it feels like this is, thank heavens, the theatre of the 70s and 80s coming up. I mean, characters can finally have character names instead of an allegorical position that they're going from. You know, so it's just like, yeah, let it develop, please.
Yeah. Hance does feel like a real person who's
right?
accidentally stumbled onto a stage full of personifications.
Right?
Maybe it's all in his head. Maybe it's a fever dream while he's being drunk, lying down.
But that's actually something that's different with this one. I wasn't there for the last two, but the first two in the beginning of the week were kind of similar sort of morality tales, but there was an everyman person in there. There was an actual, you know, I don't know, youth or some sort of everyman who was, yeah, that sort of human almost, confronted by all these allegorical characters. And this one doesn't have that, which makes it a bit more abstract and a bit more, I don't know, maybe that's why it's a little bit more, I don't know, difficult to focus on in a way.
Yes, in that sense, no individual is reformed or shown the light or given a route out. It's more about the balance of forces in the universe. You know, you have to have balance in the force.
Well, health and wealth get deceived, and then they're very sorry that they listen to those terrible people.
Yeah, so it has those elements, but let's say it doesn't have that central focus in the same way. Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. I mean, we have been very interlude heavy this week, and I did send a warning out on the email. You may get very bored of this. These are interludes, but we have seen the range of interludes because we had Thersites midweek, and that was fundamentally different to this. And next week, I'm hoping to match it much more. That said, I will be forcing the pace, and there'll be probably less discussion because, unfortunately, the plays also get longer. And I would like to try and keep a downtime to around about 10 o'clock and not go too far beyond. So it may be a case that we read through plays and then have a discussion at the end if we have time, and then maybe have a different kind of feedback process if necessary, because we got 2 or 3 plays that are relatively long. Alternatively, we may do plays over multiple sessions in the way we're doing with the Marlowe at lunchtime, so or the afternoons anyway. So it's all a bit of a mystery. It's a bit of a mystery. We're not doing mystery plays. We may, but at the moment we're not. Okay. Any final thoughts before I wrap it up?
No. Just thank you for everyone's thoughts. That was as always really entertaining and very educational. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks to everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone in the room, and thank you if you've been watching this on YouTube. There will hopefully be more to come, and plenty of things archived on the podcast as well. This particular area of dramatic history is now relatively well archived, so if you want to find the things that orbit this, there's quite a lot. You can go to the website and find everything there, beyondshakespeare.org, where you can listen or watch to various audio and videos available. Otherwise, I've been Robert Crighton, your host. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.